You won't see our president flying to the Middle East begging the Saudis to send us more electrons. And if you think Bush can beg, wait till you see the next president. We'll just make all of these electrons ourselves, and we can make a lot of them. The grid does not suffer from the same supply constraints faced by conventional oil development. Finally, in terms of energy policy, plug-in hybrids have one of the most important elements you can find, and that is strong bipartisan support. It's taken some of us to prod and push and shove and get people up to speed on this. With your help, we can really get them up to speed. In Washington these days, energy policy is mired in partisan debates, whether it's about climate change, gas prices, energy futures, or windfall profits. It's mostly about pitting one group against another and demonizing American oil companies that really only have about 6% of the world's oil production. Most of the production is by government-owned huge ventures, not our government-owned, other government. You have to search pretty hard in this city, though, to find even one negative comment about plug-in hybrids. If the Freedom Act were brought up today as a standalone bill, I believe it would pass easily, but it hasn't yet had that chance because it keeps getting lumped in with these other very controversial issues. Now, I am very confident that political acceptance of the Freedom Act will lead to its eventual passage, and I'm counting on each of you to make an effort to see that that's brought about. You're doing it not only for yourselves, but for the welfare of everybody in this country, and I think really the welfare of everybody in the world. The consumer acceptance of the hybrid electric vehicle has already proven a benefit to our nation's energy security. And now I believe that consumer acceptance can also be transferred to plug-in hybrid vehicles. I see the day that plug-in hybrid electric vehicles become mass-produced in our country, and your average citizen can drive to work and back using little or no gasoline. By the time that, and boy, that'll be a wonderful day as far as I'm concerned. By the time that occurs, we may very well have commercially viable hydrogen fuel cells and a hydrogen fuel infrastructure so that we can disconnect these vehicles from the grid and begin a new age in transportation with much greater freedom of movement and freedom from dependence on foreign oil. Now, I admire you folks in this room. I've worked very hard in the high-tech industry for all of my time in the United States Senate. Now, you in this room, you're leading our nation in this direction. And for that, I congratulate you. And I want to thank you. And you can be assured that I'm going to be here in Washington at least the next 4 years supporting you. This is the greatest country in the world. And we're on the verge of losing that greatness. And it's energy that is a big part. And our failure to do the things that have to be done in energy, these are big parts of why we're in trouble here today. But it's not just energy. It's a big, big issue today, and it's one that we've got to get people of goodwill on all sides to come together on. But Medicaid, Medicare, Social Security are running out of control, and energy is running out of control too. We've got to get those four things in order. We're going to have wars no matter what we do. And let's face it, there are a lot of evil, bad people in this world who will continuously test the United States. We have to be ready to handle these problems. But these four things are the things we absolutely have to help solve. It's going to take some real bipartisan effort to do it. In that regard, let me finish by talking about Senator Kerry's partner in the United States Senate. It's no secret that Ted Kennedy and I are called the odd couple. We all know who the odd one is, don't we? I mean, I always point to him, and he always gives me that dirty grin, you know. But the fact of the matter is that we've worked together across party lines, and he's one of the people, one of the few ones on the Democrat side who really does come across party lines to try and work with Republicans. It's hard for some Republicans to work with him because Ted is the leading liberal lion in the Senate. But it's never been too difficult for me. We fight each other about 95% of the time. They're knockdown, drag-out battles. But there's a great deal of affection between us. We're like brothers, like fighting brothers. And I have to say that I pray for him every day, multiple times. I hope all of you will as well. Because I got to tell you, there is not one other person on the Democrat side in the United States Senate that has his capacity to bring people together and to try and bring together solutions to some of these problems. Now, there are some people coming up who have great potential, but there is no one that has that ability to garner all of the Democrat machine aspects and bring it together to say this we have to do with Orrin or with whoever. I think we ought to all, whether you're Republicans or Democrats, independents, whatever you are, we'll all be praying for Ted Kennedy and Arlen Specter and Bob Byrd. Well, thank you. Let me just say how important Arlen is to the United States Senate as well. And he's had a recurrence of Hodgkin's disease. As you know, he beat it before. And I saw him yesterday. Naturally, we get together quite often, and we sit by each other on the Judiciary Committee. Arlen's one of the truly great senators in the Senate, like Ted is. And Arlen, I said, how are you feeling? He said, I feel pretty rough today. But the rougher he feels, the more enthusiastic he gets, because he believes that a positive attitude is what will help him through. And that's Ted Kennedy as well. So I just want you to know how deeply I feel about both of those senators and how important they are to this country, to the United States Senate. But having said that, the most important people in this particular area, I think, happen to be you. And so that's the reason why I'm here this morning, and as busy as I am, and I jumped at the chance to be able to come and chat with you for a few minutes about some of these things that are so near and dear to my heart and that we're fighting for right now, and sometimes against odds that shouldn't be there. You can help change that. People believe in you. People have great respect for you. I think it's important to be bipartisan in these efforts. I think it's important to realize that there are Republicans who really do have their heads screwed on right, and well, I even find an occasional Democrat who does, and that's the way it is. Let me close with this.